Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Katie. I am a qualified therapist that has been in private practice now for about 3 years. I make YouTube videos about lots of different things, about TV shows, about how to improve your mental health, different mental health conditions, and I like to do reaction videos as well, which is what we're doing today. I'm really excited because I love filming these videos. They're always so much fun, so interesting, really fun to edit as well, which helps. So I'm excited to do this one today, and today we're doing The Office. So I was trying to think of different TV shows that I like that have contained a therapy scene, and I stumbled across, I didn't actually watch it because I'm obviously saving that for this video, but I stumbled across an episode of The Office where Michael receives counselling from Toby. So I'm really excited to watch this clip and talk about it and get into it. I love The Office. I love the British version and the American version. I haven't watched all of it in a really long time. I used to be obsessed with like the early seasons of American Office, and I have seen it all the way through, but the later seasons I've not watched as much. Haven't seen this clip in a really long time, completely forgot that it existed until I stumbled on it. So it's kind of a half blind, half not blind, obviously, reaction. So before we get into the reaction then, please give this video a like if you're a fan of The Office. If you enjoy it, please subscribe to my channel for more content. I really appreciate the support. Comment down below any other reaction videos you'd like to see, any suggestions of therapy clips in TV shows. That's kind of my main focus, but I'm open to anything. Please follow me on Instagram as well. I post short form content over there about how to access therapy, things to bring, how to prepare, what to look for in a therapist, how to find the right fit for you. So yeah, definitely check me out on Instagram. I don't think we need to waste any more time. I think I say that every video because I do tend to waffle in these introductions. So I'm just gonna get straight into the reaction. I'm excited. His face. He hates him so much. Oh my God.
This is the worst. This is the worst. You are the worst. I hate looking at your face. I want to smash it. Okay, you know what?
Okay, I'm pausing already. I know it's highly irritating because we're, what, 20 seconds in? But I have to set the scene a little bit first and just say that already this is so wrong. So if you've watched my other reaction videos, sometimes it starts off fine and then I will talk about the things that, in my opinion, aren't very good that the therapist did, or anything to do with the environment, anything like that, I will comment on. But before the sessions even started, this is wrong. And the reason it's wrong is because they already have a relationship. Toby and Michael already know each other. So it's just not appropriate to have counselling in this context. You should not be receiving counselling from a friend who's a therapist, a family member who's a therapist, or a colleague, or just anyone you know, like even through a friend, through like any sort of association, because it's not starting off even. It's not starting off a blank slate. You're not kind of building that relationship from the beginning. And in this case, it's even worse because therapy is about trust. It's about feeling like you're cared about by your therapist. It's feeling heard, feeling safe. And it's important that the therapist feels comfortable as well. And Michael famously hates Toby. Like, he hates him. He can't stand him. He hates the fact that he's corporate, HR. He's always, you know, kind of stopping the party. He's always telling Michael what he can't do. And he just doesn't like him. So to have that person that you can't stand in your office be your therapist is a nightmare situation all round. So we're not off to a good start. And what I love as well of what we've already seen is that Toby's trying to use the whole silence technique that I've spoken about before in these reaction videos. It gets the person to feel like they need to speak, warm up a little bit. It can be uncomfortable, obviously, but being uncomfortable, again, when you hate the person, is just going to make you really angry. And that's why we're seeing Michael lose it and just be like, I hate you, you're the worst, this is the worst. So yeah, God knows what the rest of the 5 minutes is going to be like.
I made a mistake. I committed corporate punishment. My bad.
Oh.
It's over.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
But my punishment
What the hell?
is worse than hell.
Michael's been assigned 6 hours of mandatory counseling with a trained professional. I actually have a degree in social work. I mean, I know a lot of people would just ask a few standard questions and check off a few boxes, but well, chances there's something good here.
I know what you want to add.
Okay, so there's good intentions from Toby there. Another thing that I want to say is that they're doing it in the office. So is this even confidential? They're doing it in the canteen space. They're doing it where people eat on their lunch break. So already that's not a good environment either. Also, I'm not sure about how I feel about therapy being like a punishment. So obviously Michael did something wrong. I don't know the context of him using corporal punishment on that colleague. I can't remember that at all. But obviously that is not okay and not appropriate in the workplace. And to say that he needs therapy as punishment, I kind of get it in the sense of like needing anger management or needing or being recommended that you speak to somebody, and that being like a requirement, like you're on notice, you are suspended, and here's a list of things that we need from you in order for you to come back. And one of them is to go to a counsellor and kind of talk through any problems that you're experiencing. But he's still at work, and the counselling's happening at work. So I know it's a TV show and it's not realistic, but I'm treating it as if it's real, and it's just so wild and not okay. But Toby, the thing that I will give Toby credit for, as I said, is that he's going in thinking, here's an opportunity to do something good for Michael, but they're coming in with very different intentions.
Ask me, do your mom ever see you naked?
We can do this with more privacy.
So you can molest me? Okay, I don't think so. We're gonna leave the blinds open so everybody can see what a big failure you are.
That was so crazy to say.
That's the key.
Oh, what's your favorite flavor of
1 hour.
what?
1 hour. We've done 1 hour.
1 hour.
Let's just speed this up, okay? Keep it moving. I want to do all 6 hours.
Oh, look, I can't count the hour if you don't talk.
No.
Oh.
No, I know my rights. All I had to do is sit here for 6 hours, do my time.
Do my time? Like
I
it's
can't do that unless I
You have any idea how angry that is making me?
Tell me.
Ooh, maybe some progress about to happen. Just want to comment again on a few more things. I hope it's not too annoying, but there's just a lot happening very quickly. So he's trying, which again, you would not do this. He's trying to do the 6 hours that he needs to do back to back. Now that is not healthy. Like you can't have therapy for 6 hours. I've heard of shorter sessions, people that would benefit more from like 45 minutes, half an hour, even 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm not sure about how I feel about that, but only because it's so quick. But I understand that for some people that's more beneficial. I've also heard of extended sessions, so like an hour and a half, maybe max 2 hours. But I think that's a lot for both the client and the therapist. Anything more than that, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, or trying to do all 6 hours at once is, just not good for you, just not good for you at all. And the idea is that you're supposed to have a taste of something, the taste of the experience, learn something, have a takeaway, then go out into your real world and come back to review, to talk about how it went, to talk about any coping mechanisms that you learn, or just see how you're feeling a week on. You're supposed to gauge progress, and so that can't really be done in one day. Another really interesting thing is it was clearly his choice, as in Michael's choice, to do it in a non-private area. He wants to be in control. He doesn't trust Toby at all. He made that very clear in a wild accusation way, but The message that I want to comment on is more that he doesn't feel safe with Toby at all or trust him. So he wants to be in a space that other people can come in or other people can see. And Toby's technique is to just use general conversation. So what's your favourite flavour? I can't remember what it is now, but talking about really general things to get him to talk in general because he needs to be able to talk. I don't agree that an hour doesn't count if someone doesn't speak. I do think someone turning up, in this context I understand it because it's like you need to have the 6 hours. But in general, if I had a client come in and sit in front of me and didn't really speak for an hour, that would be fine for me because maybe it's just them trying to get comfortable and it would be something that we would reflect on in terms of what's preventing them to speak. But this is obviously more of a rushed process today. Michael's getting really angry, which is good because it's an emotion. And I will again give a bit of credit to Toby here for picking up on that and being like, well, tell me about your anger, because that's very immediate, which is good in therapy. And we're focusing on the emotion, not the words that Michael is saying.
I think we might be about to maybe really get somewhere.
I agree.
Yes, I will talk all right. Be careful what you wish for.
Toby, can I really tell you anything?
Of course. Well, the other night, I was sitting at the table eating my penis. I mean peas. That was weird. That's weird. I think it all stems from the fact that I was probed
Oh my God.
by an alien life force, an ALF. Alf. No, I might have actually been probed by Alf. You might think he's a puppet. You never see the lower half, but there's a lower half.
Jesus.
You know what, Michael? You're right. You win. This is pointless. We're not getting anywhere. I got a bunch of fun stuff in case my daughter ever comes over. Why don't we just run out the clock by playing games, drawing some pictures, talking?
Ooh. Okay, brilliant. Love this. Love this. So first of all, that was hilarious that Michael was like, you want me to talk? I will give you something. And he obviously just started to say a load of random nonsense for fun to kind of just pass the time and to trick Toby into thinking that he was about to actually open up. It weirdly worked in Toby's favour, which is interesting. I mean, first of all, that happens. Clients will come in, and not to that extreme degree, but because they're so guarded, and if they don't trust me yet, they will talk about very more surface level things, or talk about a celebrity that they really like, or a TV show that they watched last night, or something that they saw on the walk here to the session. Kind of like distraction techniques in a way, or they'll comment on something that I'm wearing, or I've heard all sorts before, and none of it is bad. None of it is anything where I'm sat there annoyed or anything like that. I see it as somebody warming up, trying to get a sense of me, not sure maybe what to talk about in the session, wanting to build rapport, or just avoiding there is something that deep down they do really want to talk about, but because they're scared, nervous, don't want to be vulnerable, they feel a bit more comfortable talking about other stuff. That was a way more extreme version of that. Toby, again, I'm kind of impressed with Toby a little bit. Is that blasphemy to say? I do love Michael, obviously, but Michael is a nightmare. Michael is a nightmare. And I get why Toby can be very annoying sometimes, but he's actually doing quite well in using a technique that is, which is really funny, more used for children, which is in therapy with children and adolescents. A lot of it can be activity based, again, to get the child to feel really comfortable, to be a bit distracted as well, rather than just it's very unnatural for a child to sit in a chair and start talking about their feelings. Children are always doing something. They're playing, they want to watch something on TV, they want to play with toys, they want to do crafts, they like to be occupied, and that makes them relax, and it also makes them concentrate. And so then when you ask them a question, they're more likely to not only feel more comfortable and safe, but to also be able to think properly and not be so intimidated and scared, and just answer the question and get the conversation going. That's what Toby has used here with Michael. which I think Michael is like in his 40s or 50s. But you know what, like that's fine, it's whatever works. It's not just for children as well. You can use activities or art therapy or games with adults. It's not completely just for children. I think the joke here is that it's usually for children, and it's the way to get Michael to open up. So they're playing a game, they're playing Connect 4 right now, and I think my prediction is that Michael's gonna start relaxing because he's happy that they're just passing the time, and I think he's gonna share something a bit more personal.
Play something more complicated. Like,
This is plenty complicated.
so you played it before?
I played once or twice with Jeff.
Who's Jeff?
Jeff was my mother's boyfriend, who she married.
So, her husband and your stepdad.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I never thought of it that way, though.
Okay.
Guys do much stuff together?
Yeah, you know what? He took me to a baseball game once. Remember? It was weird, though. They took the pitcher out of the game, and I felt really bad because the pitcher wasn't going to be able to play with his friends anymore. But Jeff said that the manager was making a really good move by taking the pitcher out. He really respected the manager.
He really respected the manager.
It's working. I'm doing it.
You're doing it, Toby. That got me excited. So that is such a good moment in therapy when someone says something where you're like, oh, I'm connecting the dots. Now Toby's only able to connect the dots here because he already knows Michael. So that's where his existing relationship with him has helped for him to realise that Michael, you know, he is the manager. He cares so much about being the manager. He always wants to be liked and respected by his colleagues. Toby is obviously already well aware of that, and Toby's usually the one getting in the way of that. So that awareness, he's connecting with what Michael has just shared around someone that he respected in his life and wanted to form a connection with. His stepdad said something that really stayed with him whilst he was getting all emotional about, it sounds like as a kid he was getting emotional about the fact that this kid that he was watching, or person that he was watching, got removed, and like what about his friends, and what about like togetherness, which is really important to Michael. His stepdad informed him like, oh, but that was a really good decision, that made sense, and there's a lot of respect for that manager, and something clicked then for Michael, and it certainly contributed to his perception of who is respected. And that is really interesting, and obviously we're seeing Michael calm down now. He's not as resistant to Toby. He's kind of enjoying himself. He's definitely more relaxed. So yeah, I'm happy for Toby that he got his little moment that, you know, doesn't always happen. It doesn't always need to happen, but it is exciting when it does.
Why did it keep you from going to the park?
I was afraid I would find him in the park playing with another kid.
Why?
I guess that's why I thought he ran away in the first place, to find a kid he liked better.
Dogs don't do that.
Right? Why would a dog do that?
I don't know.
When I hear myself say it, it just sounds ridiculous, but I never said it out loud, so.
Oh, his little smile.
Very important for you to be liked, isn't it?
Well, let's not get too... This isn't a counseling session.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh no.
Son of a gun. Son of a bitch. Wow. Okay.
Just trying
You
to help you, Michael.
Bitch. God.
Michael.
You're
Oh,
very helpful, aren't you? You try to help everybody.
It's all gone.
Do you want to play another game? You are good. But you know what? You can't help people. You couldn't help your marriage. You
oh,
lose. I don't need your help.
Oh.
Nobody needs your help. Nobody wants it. You can't help anybody. I don't need your help. Am I gonna make you cry?
Just fill them out any way you want.
Okay.
Have Aaron fax them back to corporate.
Will do. Okay. Filled out. Good. Thank you, doctor. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
oh, that's it. It all went wrong. It was all going so well, and then it all went wrong. And I don't blame Michael for being annoyed in lots of ways. I also don't blame Toby for what he did. I think he made it a bit obvious. You know, the comment on it, there was such a nice moment. Again, there was a classic therapy moment where Michael said something out loud, heard it, and was like, you know, he basically realised that that's something that he's believed his whole life around this dog wanting to find another kid that he liked better, which is really sweet and really like heartbreaking as well, bless him. And that's something that's been in his mind for a long time. And then, you know, it was a really lovely moment then when he said it out loud and was like, actually, that is a bit silly. But it wasn't in a judgmental way. Like, Toby wasn't like judging him for that. Michael wasn't really judging himself too much. He was just like, oh yeah, that's so like funny now that I'm saying it out loud. So they have this really nice moment, and then Toby names what is happening and kind of brings Michael out of the playing games conversation. That you do have to do that at some point. You do have to name what's happening. You know, you have to be a bit like meta in therapy and talk about what's actually going on in the room. Not constantly, obviously, but it does really help the client realize what's happening, because they're just talking and thinking and processing and might not be aware of something that's happening. But the way that Toby does it hits a nerve, because the way that Toby comments on what's happening is he comments on the big picture stuff, which is Michael wanting to be liked and how being liked is really important to him. That immediately snaps Michael out of it. And you see for a second before he gets really angry that he feels very vulnerable. He's like, oh, let's not go too personal. Let's not go there. Let's continue to play the games. And obviously it's quite funny when he says it's not a counselling session. Because it is, but then he did, to be fair, he kind of thought it was over. I get it, because in lots of ways Toby did trick him into opening up. With children, when this technique's happening, the child still knows that it's a therapy session. It's just a more comfortable therapy session where they're playing games and they're doing stuff. And obviously, and same with any adult doing activities as well. Toby did kind of imply that they would just run out the clock, almost like let's forget the whole thing. So that made Michael feel like it was over. So I get it though. I get why he did it and the fact that it was working and there was these really good moments. But from Michael's point of view, that is being tricked. That's not very nice, being tricked to open up. And then obviously he completely loses it at the end. And this is, again, why you can't have a therapist that you know stuff about, because he starts talking about his marriage, just throwing really personal things at Toby, which you shouldn't be able to do. I mean, obviously it does happen. It's very rare that people will get annoyed at you, get angry with you and be personal, but there's boundaries in place to prevent that. There's a contract that prevents any inappropriate behaviour like that. And I can't imagine they had any of that in place. It just doesn't seem like a very safe situation at all, where neither party is protected. And of course, Toby completely gives up then. He's like, just fill in the form however you want, which obviously isn't good. I would just fax it all to corporate. I don't think Michael he doesn't even read it properly, he just ticks whatever. So who knows what he actually might have made it seem like he was doing really badly. For all I know. I think maybe that does happen in the episode. I can't remember, but he's not looked at the form properly. He's just circled random stuff or ticked random stuff, and they call it a day, and the relationship is not developed at all. Michael has not got anything out of it, I don't think. Maybe. I guess you could argue the dog thing might have been like a nice thing for him to realise, but certainly nothing else. Nothing to do with being liked, nothing to do with that whole, you know, wanting respect, being a manager, because Toby didn't have the chance to explore it and Michael didn't feel safe enough to actually explore that properly. So it all just became stunted and, in Toby's words, quite pointless in the end, which is a shame, but it was really funny, really, really good scene, really enjoyed it, loved it. So that was my reaction and all my thoughts on that therapy scene in The Office. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. That was really fun. That was really funny, and it was so silly but really enjoyable watch, and reminds me, of course, of why the show is so good and the acting is so good. So yeah, really, really enjoyed it. If you did too, please give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel for more reaction videos and more other content like vlogs and how to improve your mental health and breaking down TV shows, all kinds of different content on this channel. Please follow me on Instagram as well. As I said, I post short form content on there, mostly about how to access therapy and how to get the most out of therapy. So if you're someone that's interested in accessing therapy, I would really recommend follow me on Instagram, and hopefully I will be able to support you. All the links for all the information about me is down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching if you got to this point, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.